Welcome back to Manarat Academy. I'm teacher Nada. In today's lesson, we will learn about how to find highest common factor and least common multiple using prime factor tree. And by the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the meaning of highest common factor, HCF, and lowest common multiple, LCM. Find the highest common factor using prime factors tree. Find the least common multiple using prime factors tree. Solve exam style HCF and LCM questions, and understanding co-prime numbers. And before we begin solving questions, let us understand these two important terms. Highest common factor. The highest common factor, HCF, is the greatest number that divides two or more numbers exactly. And the lowest common multiple, LCM, which is the smallest positive number that is a multiple of two or more numbers. Now let's begin with our first example. Find the highest common factor and least common multiple of 72 and 90. Now for small numbers, we can list factors and multiples. However, when the numbers become larger, that method becomes slow and inefficient. That's why we will use prime factorization, a faster and more reliable method. First, we need to write each number as a product of its prime factors. We start with 72. '72 can be written as 9 by 8. Both of them are composite numbers. 8 can be written as 2 by 4. 2 is a prime number while 4 is a composite number, and 4 can be written as 2 by 2. Now these branches come to their end because they end each with a prime factor. Now 9 can be written as 3 by 3. 490 can be written as 9 by 10, and 9 can be written as 3 by 3. Both are prime numbers, and for 10 it is 2 by 5, and also they are prime numbers. Now let us write each of them as a product of their prime factors. For 72, it can be written as 2. How many 2's we have? 1, 2, 3. It is 2 to the power of 3 by 3 to the power of 2. While 90 can be written as, we have 2 by 3 to the power of 2 by 5. Now after finishing writing each of the numbers as a product of its prime numbers, so we are going to find the highest common factor first. For the highest common factor, we include only the common prime factors, and we choose the smallest power of each common factor. Now for the common factors for these two numbers, 2 is a common and the 3 is the common. First we spot the common factors, then we are going to choose only the factors with the smallest power. Now for highest common factor, we have 2 is common and the 3 is common. We take the factor with the smallest power. Here 2 to the power of 1, and here 2 to the power of 3. We are going to choose 2. Then we multiply by the other factor. Here I have 3 to the power of 2 and the 3 to the power of 2 as well. Now both of them have the same power. We are going to choose one of them. So it's a 3 to the power of 2. Then we find their product. 2 by 9 equals 18. So highest common factor is 18. Now let us find the LCM now. Lowest common multiple. Now for the lowest common multiple, we include every prime factor that appears in either number. Every prime factor that appears in either number, and for the common prime factors, we choose the highest power. Okay, now the common are 2 and 3, but 5 is not common. For the common, we are going to choose the factor with the highest power. Now this is 2 to the power of 3 2 with the highest power, then by both of them have the same power, this regarding the factor 3, so we take one of them, and we notice that 5 appears only in one number, but it must still be included in the LCM. We are going to multiply with them as well. Now 2 to the power of 3 means 8 by 9 by 5, then 72 by 5 equals to 180. So highest common factor is 18, least common multiple is 180. Now let us try another example. This one is a little different, so pay close attention. Find highest common factor and lowest common multiple of 75 and 84. Before I solve it, pause the video and see if you can find the answers on your own. Now let us check the answers together. First, we write each number as a product of its prime factors. For 75, it is as a product of its prime factors. It will be written as 3 by 5 to the power of 2. While 84, as a product of its prime factors, it is 2 to the power of 2 by 3 by 7. Now let us find the highest common factor. Remember, for the highest common factor, we include only the common prime factors, and we choose the smallest power of each. Can you spot the common prime factor? Yes, the only common prime factor is 3. Therefore, highest common factor is 3, and it is the only common prime factor. Now for the LCM, we include every prime factor that appears in either number. For the common prime factors, we choose the highest power. So we include 2 to the power of 2, and we notice that 2 appears only with 84, and 3, which is the common factor, then 5 to the power of 2, which appears only with 75, and 7, which appears only with 84. So for the least common multiple, we take all the factors, whether they are common or not common, and we multiply them all together, and the product of them will be 2100. This example reminds us of an important difference between HCF and LCM. The HCF uses only the common prime factors, while the LCM includes every prime factor that appears in either number. Now let us move to example 3. This time we are given the prime factorization already, so we don't need to factorize the numbers ourselves. We know that 180 is 2 to the power of 2 by 3 to the power of 2 by 5, and 54 equals to 2 by 3 to the power of 2. Our task is to use these prime factorizations to find the HCF and LCM. Let's begin with HCF. Remember, for HCF, we are looking for the prime factors that appears in both numbers, and we choose the smallest power of each common prime. HCF. The common are 2 and 3. We choose the smallest power, 2 to the power of 1, and for 3 to the power of 2, both of them have the same power. We write their products. 2 by 9 is 18. So highest common factor is 18. Now let us go to LCM. For the LCM, we include every prime factors that appear in either number, taking the highest power of each. For the prime 2, the highest power is 2 to the power of 2. And for 3 to the power of 2. Both of them include the same factor with the same power. And don't forget that 5 appears only with 180. So we are going to include 5 in our product. Then we multiply them all together and their product is 180. It's interesting, the LCM is actually 180 because 180 is already a multiple of 54. So HCF is 18, LCM is 180. Now let us finish today's lesson by this example. Show that HCF of 63 and 110 is 1. We will start writing each number as product of their prime factors. After factorizing each number, 63 as a product of its prime factors, it's 3 to the power of 2 by 7. And 110 as a product of its prime factors, it is 2 by 5 by 11. Now let us compare their prime factors. As we notice that these two numbers have no common prime factors. That means the only factor they share is 1. Therefore, their HCF is 1. Now here is something interesting. Whenever two numbers have an HCF of 1, mathematicians give them a special name. They are called coprime numbers. A pair of numbers is coprime if their only common factor is 1. Now many students hear the word coprime and think that both numbers must be prime numbers, but that's not true. In fact, 63 is not a prime number, it's a composite number, and 110 is not prime either. So both are composite numbers. Yet they are still coprime because they share no common factor greater than 1. So here is the key idea to remember, that two numbers are called coprime if their HCF is 1. It doesn't matter whether the numbers are prime or composite. The only thing that matters is that their only common factor is 1. And now, as we have solved 4 examples, it is a time to summarize our lesson. For HCF, choose only the common prime factors, choose the smallest power, then multiply. For the LCM, include every prime factor that appears. For the common prime factors, choose the highest power, then multiply. And for the coprime, two numbers are called coprime if their highest common factor is 1. This means that their only common factor is 1. Now it's a time to challenge yourself. Find both the HCF and LCM of these numbers: 1, 42 and 56, 2, 48 and 84, 3, 45 and 120. Pause the video and solve them before checking the answers. The answers: the HCF of 42 and 56 is 14 and their LCM is 168. The HCF for 48 and 84 is 12 and their LCM is 336. And for 45 and 120, their HCF is 15 and their LCM is 360. How many did you get correct? Let me know in the comments. Now, if you have enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next lesson. Goodbye.